Well, our school-wide project is to make feathers of all different colors, each grade level, and in those colors we want to have different values. And then we're going to put it all together to make wings and show that we are loving and kind and compassionate. So how we're going to get started is each grade level will get a feather, and we are going to color it in with one color, but within that color we're going to use different values. Remember, value is the lightness or darkness of the color. Sometimes it's also described as the shades of color. But because we're using art terms, we're going to say value. So it's the darker value, the medium value, and the lighter value of the color. Now, as teachers, you have the choice of what materials you would like your class to use. You can use markers. Just pull out those different values. You can use crayons, all different values of one color. I know some of you have color sticks. These are like colored pencils. Again, just find the different values. Watercolor paint. To get different values with your watercolor paint, you are going to want to use water. That's the key. More water, if I'm doing red, more water will give me a lighter value. Less water will give me a darker value. Also, depending on your watercolor tray, your pans, you may have darker values or lighter values of one color. This is more of an orange red. This one here for me is more of a magenta red. So by adding that magenta red to my orange red, I can change the value. So just right there you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 different values of red. Also, when you're thinking about value, think of the color wheel, colors that are between. So for green, for example, if you want to, with marker, make a lighter value of green or a different value of green, you can add yellow to it, because yellow is in the color family of green, and so this creates a different value. So if you only have markers with one green, pull out your yellow and pull out your blue marker, because blue will darken the green and yellow will light it. And that right there will give you at least 3 different values of the color. You guys have oil pastels. Oil pastels would be great for this project too. So again, different values of those oil pastels. Chalk pastels, the same thing. I think you guys understand the concept, different values. So you're going to begin by taking your feather. I like to use a pencil or a black crayon, just something that can give me some darker lines, just to kind of create the feather. So I put a line usually from the top coming down to the end of the feather, and I'm doing this lightly, and then some lines that come down kind of like these from the side to the middle, just to give me different areas to color. So these different shapes here will be colored in with different values of that color. You're also going to have a word written on your feather prior to this. If you use certain materials like oil pastel, it might cover over, so you might have to come back in with a black oil pastel and rewrite those words. So now your students are ready to fill in each one of these shapes with a different value of the color that your grade level has been assigned to. I hope that's pretty self-explanatory. Again, for darker values, like with purple, if you want a darker value of purple, add some blue on top of it. You can even use red and blue to make a different value of purple. So think within those color families. With green, add blue and yellow into the mix. With orange, add red and yellow. Red will darken your orange a little bit, and yellow will lighten it. Probably the most difficult color to get color changes with is going to be yellow. So what I recommend is to, even with your yellow, maybe you can use a tiny bit of orange to change it. So it's kind of a yellow orange. And you could also use a tiny bit of brown. So I'm just using watercolor paint, but if I add a tiny bit of brown, it'll darken the yellow a little bit. And that's how you can get those value changes with yellow. With a marker, I would do the same thing. Add a little orange, maybe even a light brown marker, although it might look way too brown. Chalk pastels would be a good one to do with yellow. I did my yellow feather with oil pastels, and I put a white pastel on top of the yellow down here. This was just the yellow, and then some orange on top. And you can see it gave me some value changes. But like I said, yellow is going to be probably the hardest to get those value changes. But think of materials that you could add white on top of, and then a little bit of orange. Or if you're lucky enough to have, like these oil pastels in this set, this actually has different values of yellow. So you might have some of those. Well, I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. And if you have any questions about this project, please reach out to me, email me, or catch me on a Friday when I'm around. All right, thanks. Good luck.